What's good, everyone? Jeremy Majors here with Majors Academy Dog Training out of Green Bay, Wisconsin, and we are live on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. This is Dog Behavior Q&A episode 125, where we take your questions and answer them to the best of my ability. So it's as simple as that. You ask the questions, we answer them, and we got some good ones today. We got some folks that asking some pretty difficult, complex questions, and we'll need to dive deep into those questions and see if we can't help out some folks. But once again, we're live on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, and all shows are recorded to iTunes. So you can go back and watch or just listen to iTunes. And obviously, they all are recorded on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram as well. And so you'll be able to watch them live there as well. All right, let's get started. Okay, this question is for Natalie. Natalie says, my dog is 8 months old and overall is very well behaved. However, when we go on walks, she gets stuck on smells or things she sees and I can't get her attention back on me. I use the word focus to gain her attention, but when she gets stuck, she does not respond to it. I've tried luring her focus back to me with a treat, and that has not been successful either. Any suggestions? Yes. So when you want a dog that will respond to you, when you want her to, the best thing to do is practice focused walking. And focused walking is not allowing the dog to sniff, pull, pee, or pay too much attention to other dogs. And in doing so, what you have to fundamentally teach the dog is that the dog moves with you for the majority of the walk and not the other way around. You want to be the leader of the walk. So that means you turn and she turns with you, not she decides to go somewhere and you follow her. And so walk about 25 yards and then turn around and walk another 25 yards and kind of repeat that until you get her to engage with you. No treats needed, just a short leash, maybe a short leash. But what you want to do again is walk one way, 25 yards, walk back the other way, and repeat. And then that's how you're going to practice getting her focused. And then when she does look up at you, or when she does just look up and concentrate, relaxed, then you praise her, but only to the level at which the dog can handle the praise. The praise should only be of the amount that keeps the dog focused. And so if you give too much praise and the dog decides to pull again, get too excited, or decides to sniff again, then you're giving too much praise. So praise, you guys, we can use as the treat. The treat is superficial. The praise is what the dog should remain humble to. And that means you may have to cut back on all of the petting that you do on a daily basis if the dog doesn't get excited when you actually give him praise, or when the dog walks away from you while you're giving the dog praise. That means the dog's cup is full, and you can use that as your number one training tool. No leash or collar can trump your relationship, and you will have to meet the dog where he is or she is in order to use that tool to its optimum, which just means, again, your praise should be the thing that the dog stays humble to and gracious of. And if it's not, then you're giving too much for free. I just tend to keep praise for when we are walking off leash with my pack. When I'm walking off leash with my pack, I want them to want to come to me. They know that they have to come to me. Like it is non-negotiable that you come when I tell you to. But um, I also want you to want to come. And if they know they're coming for something they like and something that they don't get all the time, then they're going to be more likely to come. Hope that makes sense. So I did go off on a little tangent about praise and stuff like that, but I don't want people to understand what treats are for and how to use them correctly. Treats are for teaching, not for when once the dog has already learned what you have taught the dog. Treats should go away. You can wean them off, but they should not be there every time if the dog knows what you want. Because then you're just feeding the dog. And it is a superficial way to get your dog to listen. You are going around things that you need to focus on, which is when I tell you to do something, you must do it. No questions asked. It's going to keep you safe. It's going to keep me safe. It's going to keep society safe. And so, the best way or the most reliable way to get your dog to listen and learn. So, those are the two most important things. Does your dog listen? Okay. Then your dog will learn. If your dog doesn't listen, then your dog won't learn. Okay? Because the dog has to trust you. How do you get trust? The dog must respect you. Just because the dog doesn't bite you doesn't mean it feels safe with you when it's around things that make him or her feel safe. So we must, again, depending on your dog and how much he likes praise, what he does after you give praise, all those factors matter on how much you can give it and when you can give it. If they make you really, really proud, go ahead and give it. But make sure that you are totally aware of your dog's intelligence and you're not just giving praise because you want to give praise, because then you're not really pushing your dog to its potential, intelligence wise. We have to teach our dogs how to think, not just live in reactionary lifestyle. All right. So that's enough on that. I can expand on that, but maybe I will later. Okie dokie. Next question. Question comes from Chris. She is my top fan. I appreciate you, Chris. I just trained her dog and sent her dog home last week, and she dropped off some goose jerky and some barbecue flavored venison. And oh my God, I can't get enough. Even little Reggie is really enjoying all of those foods, so I appreciate it. Okay, let's get to your question. So she is again an ex client who watches my show and has been watching my show for a very long time, and and this is a place where I encourage my um, former clients, past clients, to come and continue to learn. This is a great opportunity to just stay engaged, continue to learn because it is a journey. It's not going to happen after 3 weeks when you get the dog home. Your dog will have a foundation, but there'll still be things you'll have to work through. And I make my clients very aware of that. And I also give them the opportunity to train with me um, in a private setting for the rest of the dog's life. Okay, so let's get to the question. I think we've lost our magnet touch. Magic, maybe she meant magic. Magic touch with Brandy. How do we get the touch like you have? Example, when we loose leash walk, she is looking everywhere but us. If you put her on her cot before I can leave the room, she goes in her crate to lay down. I keep setting her back on her cot. We took her outside to the place on the cot, and she was looking everywhere. Is this too soon for her? Sorry, so many questions. Thank you. We will not give up on her. Okay, Chris. So thank you for your questions and thank you for staying engaged. Let's just keep it at that. Um, One of the things that I do with my ex clients is I really do thank them for keeping in contact after the training. Some I don't hear from, some I do. I really appreciate uh, hearing back from you. Okay, so all right. So the touch is going to take some time, but again, just only rely on the dog knowing what to do and then making the dog do it. The dog knows what to do, so it's not um, it's not uh, or it is, let's just say it is advisable to um, go up on your e-collar to the level at which gets the dog to do exactly what you want. Okay, so if you put the dog on the cot, have your e-collar ready, and you have the level on 15, and she does that, go to her crate. I want you to go up to 20, and just like we practiced here, stay by your cot. Call her to your cot. Brandy, come. When she gets close, on your bed, and then when she's on the bed, down or stay. Whatever you want to do. She clearly knows what to do. All you have to do is make her do it. Same thing outside. I don't care if it takes 10 attempts. You don't move from where you are. You don't let her attempt to not do what you want her to do work. She's going to see if she cannot do what she doesn't want to do. And that is what has to be addressed in order to get that touch um, that you're talking about. She just has to have that confidence in you. Brandy knew here with me that every attempt or anything, her best effort, um, did not work for me because we had to have her listen at a very high level, the ability that she has. And so, um, remember, do not give up before she gives up. I mean, before she makes you give up. Be more stubborn than the dog. And once she realizes that we're going to be here all day until she does it, then it will only take one or two times then. Okay. And again, that's the best way to work towards weaning off the collars, all of the collars. And don't worry about if she's looking everywhere, but you guys. Um, we don't have to have her looking at us during the walk. That's fine. As long as you can get her not to want to focus on other things. Okay, so you may have to check the level at which you are correcting her with your leash and prong or your e-collar. And you may have to be as firm as she needs you to be. Okay, so if she's unfocused and looking at other things, then be more firm with your voice and your leash correction until you get relaxed ears and a dog who may, look forward, relaxed eyes for the majority of the walk. All right. All right. Keep me updated, Chris. And yeah, thanks again for your question. You guys, you're welcome. E-collar is on 20, so put it up to 30 if she doesn't listen, because she has the ability to listen. We proved that. We saw that. So just make sure she is her behavior is held accountable. Okay. You hold her behavior accountable. Hi, Mariah. Hi, Jojo. All right. Okay. Those of you who are watching live, please feel free to ask as many questions as you like. We are here until the questions run out. All right. So don't be shy. If you have a topic that you would like me to talk about, please do so. I have a topic that I want to talk to you guys about before we get into any more questions. I have a topic that we want to talk about, that I want to talk about. Let me just make sure we don't have any questions on Facebook. This has to do with, again, what happens sometimes with certain dogs after they train with me on the board and train. Waiting on it to pull up here. All right, so here we go. Okay, so I have a client currently who I hope is watching. But I have a client that is experiencing a dog that is seems to be more aggressive after the dog was sent to me. Okay, and every now and then, not a lot, every now and then, I will get an owner who says um, the dog is more aggressive now, and I really want to address that because it's very crucial. All right, I'm gonna take a drink before I get into this because this is going to be long-winded. Okay, so if I have a client who calls me and says the dog is more aggressive now, I want to explain exactly what's going on there because it's very important for people to realize what's going on. I should actually make a video of it and send this home with people before they take their dog home. All right, so check it out. When your dog goes home, I tell people that the dog, once it's in its home environment, it may try and see if um, it can be the way that it was before the dog came to me. It's going to be like, hey, is it party time again? So those behaviors you may, excuse me, the dog may attempt those behaviors that got the dog to me. And then if it's met with some resistance, with a little bit of resistance, it may cause the dog to become a little bit of a rebel. And that's what you're seeing. If the dog is a little bit more um, pushy or wants to be a little bit more rebellious, when it gets home, it's so because it was so set in its ways before it came to me, it wants to get back to those ways. And you will see a dog become a little bit more, like I said, pushy than before. But what you have to evaluate is um, how much how much has have you uh, followed the I would say the email that I send home. This email that I send home for everyone is a game plan for the month following the board and train. And so what that email entails is a month long of a very structured way, a very structured day by day. And I want people to see how their dog acts with that structure. And then once after that month, then we can start peeling away some of those rules. If the it, because it is just very important that the owner is able to experience what it's like for a dog to have uh, a very tight, structured day by day. Okay, because I experience to be there so that the owner can go back to that if things start to get hairy. Okay, and so again, if a dog is getting more aggressive, rebellious, this and that, what we have to do is immediately shut down affection because the dog that I'm thinking of is a very affectionate dog and a very charming dog. And that right there, if we're giving in to that, then that's what and then trying to give the dog rules and then maybe getting frustrated that the dog doesn't listen. Um, that's going to be the key on getting the dog to really accept the new rules because the new rules have to be aligned um, with uh, the new rules have to be aligned with the new sort of attitude uh, with the owner. Okay, the owner can't have certain um, luxuries like the like it once was before. because it is directly connected to the misbehavior of the dog. All right. So, like I said, we have to meet the dog where we are. If the dog decides to, I was telling a lady yesterday, if the dog decides to do something that really is uh, distasteful in your eyes, then don't give the dog praise for a couple of days. Obviously, always give the dog what it needs, but don't give the dog what it wants. We have to keep the dog humble to that. Okay. And so, um, again, the dog will try and get what it wants. But if it can get what it wants whenever he wants, then there's no real reason for the dog to behave. Your best tool is your relationship. And either the dog really likes you or the dog doesn't like you. But let the dog have the choice to actually like you or not. And that's what I do with my dogs. If they want to run away, there's the door. Go. If you don't want to be with me, I'm not going to force you to be with me. But they always come back because they have that freedom of choice sort of deal. I don't need them. I want them. I don't need them. When you are so into your dog that you forget about their needs because you are so focused on yours, that's where we go wrong. Can't forget about their needs. So petting can easily be a slippery slope because we need that oftentimes. We need affection. Yeah? Can't rely on this dog for that. You can't rely on a dog for affection because you're going to keep the dog crippled. You're going to keep the dog from learning. So the dog will misbehave if it has nothing to truly work for. You're welcome, Jamie. So I'm not saying it's with all dogs, but I am saying it is the problem with a lot of dogs. A dog isn't a pet. I mean, it's a pet, but we shouldn't be able to just pet all the time. Oh, I should be able to pet my dog. Yeah, really? You should be able to pet your dog all the time? Okay. Well, then you are going to continue to have problems if you have problems. In the perfect world, we can pet all the dogs all the time, whenever we want. But that's just not reality. Petting and overpraising develops, in a way, contempt between the dog and yourself. The dog will, once its cup is full, feel free to do the things you don't want the dog to do because it's going to get pet anyway. Oh, I can go after this dog. No problem. I'll be on the couch tonight. We'll be cuddling tomorrow. We'll be cuddling the next day. No problem. Oh, I can get in a fight tonight. Oh, the dog. I'll be on the couch tomorrow. They'll put me in the crate, but that's okay. I'll be on the couch tomorrow. I'll get some treats tomorrow. No problem. Mm. So it's, again, very important that we evaluate the most important thing. No treats, no toys can substitute the trust and respect that is important. You should never sacrifice respect for friendship. Let that sink in for a second. And I'm going to say it again. You should never, in your relationship with your dog, you should never sacrifice respect for friendship. You got to be willing to disregard friendship. Sorry, I thought I heard my boy. You got to be willing to disregard friendship in order to obtain and maintain respect. Respect is more important than friendship. Example, you should be able to walk through your door when you come home and your dog not jump on you. You may have to get ugly with your dog in order to teach your dog not to jump. This is respect. Do not say, "Oh, but he's been left alone for so long. Oh, he's just so happy to see me. Oh, he's my best friend." Maybe they shouldn't call it man's best friend. I know that's probably gonna ruffle some feathers, but you really care about dogs, you should be humans should be your best friend. You should spend time educating humans because dogs can't get other dogs better. Well, they can, but you know what I mean. People can. So our focus should be on coaching people too. That'd be good. Do not sacrifice respect for friendship. Don't do it. Okay, hello. I just heard about Majors Academy dog training from a good friend of ours whose dog graduated from your 3-week program. May I ask a question on this form or should I message you? You are free to ask any question that you like right here, right now. Because all of my information is out there. Tide, lay down somewhere. I have people tell me sometimes when they watch my lives that their dogs their dogs recognize my voice. Hey Francis, how are you? And so I had a client yesterday that said my dog started my dog stopped listening to me or stopped listening to me when we go live, and so she brought the dog back and for a refresher or whatever, and so I bet that dog's now uh, starts to listen to my voice again. Tide, what's up, Tide? Anywho, so yeah, uh, you guys, I really am a big believer of that respect is the first thing. If your dog doesn't have respect, then you will have a dog who will be unpredictable and sometimes dangerous. Dog must respect you. Don't worry about friendship. Friendship will come. Friendship will come after respect is established. Okay. True friendship too. I mean that really nice, good friendship to where it's convenient for you. You know, you can be friendly and still hate your dog. You know what I'm saying? You can hate your dog and oh, but the dog's friendly with me. Oh, but the dog, is 90% of the time the dog is amazing. Uh, so Don't sacrifice respect for friendship. Friendship comes later when learning is really established. Let's let the dog be 5 years old if you're dealing with a puppy. Let's let the dog be 5 years old. So that's like 30, um, which kind of makes sense for adults as well, and kids. You obviously know you have to be a parent for a very long time. You can't just be the kid's friend, right? Okay, and so the last thing that I'm gonna kind of bring up, if you're bored, Tide could use a refresher. Hey, anytime. I know you guys got the tequila over there, so anytime you anytime you want a refresher, you let me know. Um, yesterday, oh, tell your husband. Yesterday was National Tequila Day, by the way. Okay, so anyway, uh, how about this? People in rescue and even dog trainers, do me a favor. Stop making it seem like it's always the owner's fault. Just stop, okay? Because it's not. We cannot be so hard on people. Because when we say it's the owner's fault, then allowed we allow um, failure to manifest. Okay, when we just can say, "Oh, it's the owner. They're just not." And I'll be the first to admit, sometimes it is that way. But we can't stop trying to figure out better ways on getting the owner to realize how important it is to do certain things or to not do certain things. Um, okay, pause that. Got a question. Okay, thank you. You're welcome. We have an 8-month-old Polish lowland sheepdog. His name's Elroy. That's pretty awesome. He seems to have really strong protective like reactions when he meets new people. Uh, not all new people, but some new people. For example, when some people approach him, even cautiously and in a very gentle and calm way, obviously people with history with dogs, he sniffs cautiously and then barks like crazy in a kind of aggressive way and lunges forward like he's going to bite their hand. He never bites, but it seems a little rough. Is that him being protective? Is that a herding dog kind of thing? I apologize. I always apologize to the person first and then address Elroy. Perhaps I should address him first. There's no pattern to his sometimes aggressive greetings. We are at a loss and unsure of what to do. More training. So uh, first of all, I really appreciate your question. Um, yeah. So, okay, we have a dog who is reactive towards people, and it's some people. Okay. In order to fix that, you will need to uh, be there for the dog when it needs you to be, and that may be mean um, not allowing the dog to choose to be choosy. Dog should not be choosy on who he barks at or not. Dogs should listen to you first. All right. The dog should be able to take direction from you, have confidence that you will control the situation so that he doesn't feel he has to because he's trying to protect himself, not necessarily protect you. The dog The dog's trying to protect itself because there's someone acting weird trying to pet him or interact with him when he's not ready. I don't know where people get this idea of how to greet a dog. It's like, um, use common sense. When the dog backs up or the dog is cautious, just let the dog come to you. Stop trying to interact with the dog. All right. So when you see a dog, okay, here's how you want to interact with a dog. You see a dog you want to pet, bend down, stay in one spot. Don't turn your back. Don't do this funky hand thing that people do like this. Don't do that. Just allow the dog to come to you. How about this? Here's the best way. Okay, because you guys got to remember that I have dogs who have a history of biting people when they see them. Okay, here's the best way. Well, I would say, in my experience, here's the best way. Act like the dog's not there. Don't worry about it. What does that do? Dog says, he's not doing what everyone else does. Now I'm curious. Let me check him out. And then he goes up and sniffs you, and you still don't touch the dog because it's not like the dog's coming up to you, putting his paws on you. So he doesn't think it's okay to touch you, but you would think it's okay to touch him. No, 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 no. Use your sort of, again, common sense. If the dog wants to be touched, I'm pretty sure you can figure that out. Dog maybe will nose you, lay its chin on you, give you its butt to scratch. Be happy, not cautious. You don't pet a dog to get a dog to be good with you, necessarily. Not all the time, anyway. But if you have a cautious dog and you know your dog is cautious, keep people away from him until he's ready. That's going to be the key. Control of the dog, control of the person, and let the dog, under your control, learn that people can be a good thing. But also, going back to what we've already talked about, is the dog's cup. Well, it's 8 months old, so it's a puppy yet, too. But still, 8 months is plenty old enough to even help him realize uh, that people can give him what he wants. If he likes to be pet, you can get the dog to be more open to be pet by strangers by not petting the dog so much. The dog will be more likely to want to be pet by strangers if he isn't pet so much by the people they live with. Okay, I always apologize. Oh, I already read that. Interesting perspective on being protective. Elroy protecting himself. I always just assumed that he was protective of us. He was so shy and tentative as a puppy. Yeah, though that definitely tells you that he's protective of him. Because if he was shy as a puppy, then that just means he's fearful in general. He's behind our legs at puppy class. Yes, they always do that funky hand thing. Yeah, I know. But no, if he was tentative as a puppy and didn't even have the ability to know to be protective of you guys yet, I mean, he didn't even have time enough to develop a relationship to want to protect you. No, that's him protecting him. Okay, and that's a perfect example too, guys. He's not a rescue. I'm guessing he's not a rescue. But that kind of ties into what I'm talking about when it comes to um, dog trainers or rescue people being tough on people. There are some poorly bred dogs out there. Um, there are some dogs who are bred and end up in the wrong owner's hands, and they start off fearful. They start off aggressive. Okay, and that's not any fault of the owners. So some people, the average person, doesn't know and or doesn't want to deal with that sort of level of fear, reactivity, and aggression. And you can't blame them. It's hard. It's not easy. Because then there are dogs who are bred to be able to take on anything with no training. Think about service dogs for a second. Service dogs are bred and are raised by volunteers who are not training. Service dogs basically sometimes are raised by volunteers just whose job is just to keep feeding the dog and basic animal husbandry when it comes to the dog. That's it. So then how's the dog later on become a service dog? Because it was bred that way. So breeding is important to remember. Genetics are stronger, in my opinion. Genetics are stronger than nurture. I think dogs are going to be who they are genetically, no matter how much you train them. Now that's not to say training doesn't work, because training does work. But genetics play a bigger role than training. Okay, that doesn't really go towards me. I mean, that doesn't really benefit me, does it? Because I'm a trainer and I want business. But it's just the truth, in my opinion, for now. Maybe it'll change. I know many people who will have a different perspective than that. But I think that goes holds true for humans as well. The environment is a factor, but is it the most important factor? I don't know. Trauma is definitely a factor, but genetics, I think, are more powerful than traumatic. Let's just, for example, let's take a fearful dog that gets attacked on leash. The dog is wrecked, right? Dog is like super becomes super leash reactive. Or you get a service dog that is attacked on leash. Service dog continues to be a service dog. Whatever. I'm good. I have experienced both ends of that spectrum. My dog got attacked by a dog while we're on leash. And then we went to dog daycare and he played with dogs. Patched him up, cleaned up the wound, patched him up, and then we played with dogs. Like it didn't even happen. Mm, something to think about. Hey Q, I'm trying to teach Sammy to find your boy, which is go find the baby when he's out of sight. I started out separating Sammy and the baby and then saying find your boy and walking him over to the baby and give lots of praise. Example, good job, you found your boy. I just started further away and further away, or having the baby out of sight. Baby loves this game. Just wondering if we're doing this right, or if is there any other tips you can give him to helping him. Can the baby hold his treat? Because what I would do is hold Sammy by the collar or on leash, give the boy a treat, and then um, have your boy, if you can, hold the treat in the air. Once Sammy's looking at the boy, release Sammy and say, "Go find your boy," and then instruct your boy to give treats, and then increase distance with that same protocol. All right. Um, Go find your boy should mean I'm gonna get a treat. Okay. Um, and if he's food motivated, That's even better. So that's what I would do. Increase the distance as your dog knows. You're teaching. You want to teach the dog that when you say "Go find your boy," or yeah, "Go find your baby" or "Find the baby," that he gets a treat. And um, again, if he gets confused or doesn't go, then go closer and start. So start close and work your way back. And if you increase distance too quick, then he won't go. Then that just means you have to shorten your distance for a couple of repetitions and then go back and do the same thing. It's just like teaching a dog how to find um, an object, retrieve an object. Uh, so there you go. Give that a shot. Okay. I cannot stress the fact that the post training instructions from you are not only uh, for the dog, but in our case for the owners, also a great help for us and Brandy. Thank you. Thank you, Chris. I really appreciate that. My good friend from the East Coast is also watching you live. Her name is Vivian. Hi, Vivian. How are you? What's wrong with your dog? Please tell me. Hey, you guys. Hey, hey. Hi. How are you? Hey, guess what? Don't be so hard on people. It's not always people's fault. Okay? But they may have a really messed up dog, and that's fine. That's just a reality. It's okay. Don't be so hard on people. People who you need to educate, because people are going to better the dog community. If you care about the dogs, people are going to better the dog community. Dogs aren't. You don't have one yet. Okay. What kind of dog do you want? Okay. I'm going to answer a couple more questions, unless you guys come up with some live. Do you offer training in Madison? Excuse me. No, not private lessons. People come to me from Madison for our board and train, but that's all I can offer. I am busy with board and train so much so that I don't even do private lessons in Green Bay, um, only for specific times. So right now, our board and train is full until the end of September. It may no, it's October. I believe it's October 1st, actually. Hi, Sharon. How are you? Sharon, I got a shirt for you tomorrow. No, Saturday. Okay, so don't let me forget. I hope you guys who have trained with me come to the pack walk. It's going to be a good one. I'm going to introduce a couple of the private lesson dogs, and so they may be a little bit. They may need some time, so be aware. Okay. All right. Let me make sure. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your expertise and insight. My husband grew up with dogs, but I'm new to having our dog as a part of our family. I'm trying to soak up as much knowledge as possible so Elroy can live the best life possible with us. You betcha. You're very welcome. And thank you for asking questions because they not only help maybe you guys, but it does help people who have similar issues because there are people. You're not alone with your issues with your dog. Sure. As many as you like. One more question, if that's okay. Of course it is. Do you recommend that we get more training for Elroy and us, my family? Absolutely. Yep. Dog needs, in my opinion, if your dog is exhibiting that sort of aggression, human aggression for sure, the dog needs to spend time with a trainer that can show the dog that the world isn't the way he thinks it is. Okay. So the other thing is this. I think the most important thing is The dog is spends time with someone who is comfortable controlling people too, right? So when we're on the walk, if I was walking Elroy, I would not let people come and pet him. He does not want it, and I would be okay with saying, nope, I'm sorry, he doesn't like to be pet, or nope, I'm sorry, he's training. Even though everyone wants to pet a puppy, right? Got to be comfortable with that for a while. Elroy needs to be able to trust a human to a certain level so that he can open his mind and then want to engage with people again. Um, but if he was doing it as a puppy, he was genetically so he's genetically fearful, which is not okay. But that's not the but it is okay because with the proper training it could be fine. But that's what I would do. I would get a board and train is the best situation for that because sometimes the owner is the dog's drug, and sometimes it's just like addiction rehabilitation. Sometimes the best way for a dog to um, get past those issues is to be away from the environment, that environment in which is so triggering to the dog, and even get away from its parents for a while. Because a stranger that knows what they're doing, such as myself, would be able to get the dog to open up its mind much quicker than the owners would. And that's what's powerful about the board and train. The board and train is powerful because the dog goes, where the hell am I? What the hell am I doing? Which is a good mindset in the beginning. It's good for them to start to question things, and things aren't so set in stone, right? Because there are behaviors that the dog exhibits obsessively. I'm willing to bet. There are behaviors that the dog does and is fine doing. You don't want that. You don't want to build a dog who is okay doing the thing the same way or getting what he wants whenever he wants. Any behavior that is obsessive or that is seems to be out of your control needs to be addressed. And that's what we do here. We get the dog to just enjoy the basics. And I mean enjoy the basics. Let's enjoy our time in the crate because the crate can be a place where it can relax. It can be a relaxing thing. Let's enjoy the walk because the walk should be enjoyable. Oh, let's enjoy some other dogs because dogs can be enjoyable. Oh, wait, let's enjoy time by ourselves outside in the yard because those things should also be enjoyable with the dog. You should be able to put your dog out in the backyard and the dog not be at the window scratching to get back in because you're inside. Uh-uh. We don't want that. What we want is your dog to be independent from you, not codependent. So that's what we teach the dog here too. How to relax in the crate, relax outside, relax on the walk, relax around people, relax around other dogs, and relax inside the house with all of those distractions going on. But it starts with control. We have to control our dogs amongst the triggers, right? Amongst the stimuli that the dog has developed such an impulse to react. Oh, another dog. Up, doorbell. Oh, mailman. Another dog. So all those Triggers have to be addressed with control in order to get past them, in order for the dog to control those impulses. It's impulsive, it's reactionary. You don't want your dog to be a slave to his reactionary, to his reactions. Some dogs are, and there's a small percentage of dogs, but some dogs are a slave to their genetics. Can't help but to be fearful. That's not all dogs. That's not most dogs, I'd say. Sid, tell Sid I said hi. No, tell Bentley I said hi. You didn't think I remembered, did you? Yeah, that's back in 2000, like what, 13, 12? I trained Bentley, this really aggressive Yorkshire Terrier in Atlanta, and yeah, I remember that dog, Bentley. Tell Bentley I said what's up. He was like one of my first clients when I opened up my business in Atlanta. It's crazy. Okay, one more question, unless you guys have other questions. Oh, wait a minute. Private or class training? Wish we lived closer to Green Bay. Such a great advice. Thank you. His puppy kindergarten class trainer warned us about the strong reaction at his graduation, suggested we work on that with some additional training. Our friend's collie came back a new dog. They said the board and train he received with you was life changing. I never trained a male border collie. Are you thinking of, what's the dog's name? It's a female border collie. Maisie. Uh, so again, private lessons or class training are not, they're not going to do it for that dog. I'm sorry. Um, and I hate to say that. I really do. But again, the dog needs to trust you. Needs to learn to trust you, or and it's very hard to do so if you don't know what to do and the dog spends the majority of the time with you. Private lessons are only once every week for 1 hour. The dog spends the next 23 hours with you. Being able to, you know, continue to think of you the way that's not conducive to its progression. Private lessons are not going to do it. It's not enough time when it comes to aggression or fear. Those are some really heavy things. Dog needs a board and train. And class training is absolutely nuts, um, especially if they don't require certain tools, or especially if they just allow people to come for the first time without any sort of private lessons first. They're just not a good environment. They're not a safe environment. So I was talking to my client today who had a dog aggressive golden retriever, and um, getting pet code training, and pet code does not allow prong collars because they are working towards a CGC. Oh my god. I just don't I don't I don't know why people are trying really hard. Um I don't know what it is. I don't know. But but whew, hold on. I don't know. I'm gonna try to explain this. I really am. I'm really gonna try to explain this. Okay? Because I just don't know, man. When you're training a dog for the CGC, canine good citizen, yes, we know. First of all, let's just address that. Why does the AKC not? Why, in order to have a CGC, are they not allowed to have training tools, certain training tools on? How come you allow some training tools and not others? Where's the logic in that? See, people have are lost on this idea that the prong collar is this some special, uh, freakish uh, device. There's not much difference between a prong collar and a collar. Only um, in the way that the dog can be reached. Okay, the dog has got to be reached. If the flat collar doesn't work, then people should be free to use a prong collar. People should be free to test, train with a prong collar. Oh, the dog. Um, uh, the CGC test doesn't allow prong collars, so therefore we don't train with a prong collar. Stu, I'm not gonna do it. I'm sorry. Um, do you know the point of any training tool? Do you know what training means? It's like taking a let's just take an SAT test. Let's say we're taking an SAT test, but we can't use books to test to train or to study for the SAT test. Huh? We can't use those tools. Why? We can only use what? We can only use certain resources to take the test. Okay. So I'm okay with I'm halfway okay with not using a prong collar during the test. Fine. But not using the prong collar to train is flat out missing the point of what training is. Training is learning. Some people have stubborn dogs. Some people have big dogs that they'd like to control. And so, especially if you have a reactive dog and you can't use your tool that reaches the dog and teaches the dog, then you should not be in training class. Because then you are putting your dog's trust with you in jeopardy. It is your job to keep that trust once you gain it. It is your job. And if you are using a flat collar or a harness that is unlikely to reach your dog when there are other dogs around, then you are putting your dog's trust that you've built in jeopardy and you're going to backtrack. I'll come back to that. But does anybody who's watching agree with me? I mean, that it really seems kind of dumb. It really does. Petco and PetSmart, they both sell that product there, yet they're not allowed to use them in the class. Why? If you're allowed to use a collar and a leash, which fundamentally do the same thing as a prong collar, just a prong collar, just a little bit more intense, then why not use a prong collar in the correct way? Because a leash says you can't go over there. That's what a leash does. You want to go over there? No. Prong collar just makes that a little easier. That's all. That's it. Nothing more than that. All right, let's get back to some questions. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Not using the doggy don't on Brandy. Can we use it on our other dog, Spud, but not in the area of Brandy? Absolutely. Yes. One more question. Since we're talking about prong collars, what kind of prong collar did you get for us? I think Sammy's is getting small and he could use the benefit from another prong or two. He's gained 20 pounds since he's been there. He went to the vet and said the skin under his prong was irritated. She said stop using it, and I just immediately thought of you and how to shake your head at that. How can you check to see if the prong collar is the right fit? If you can move it around, you should be able to kind of move it around a little bit. If it kind of turns his neck with it when you turn it around, then it's too tight. But you can come back to my house, and I have tons of them. Okay, I can give you as many as he needs. So feel free to come, and even if I'm not there, I can leave them out, out in the steps or something like that, and you can pick those up, or I can mail them to you too, whichever's easier. Let me know. Okay. So all right, guys. I think we're going to end it here. Oh, wait a minute. I'm planning to take a dog training course with Catch Dog Academy. All right. I don't know what Catch Dog Academy is or who it is, but good luck. And if you need some more help, um, feel free to reach out. All right. All right. So let me just make sure I got everybody's question. All right. A lot of good information was talked about on this episode, guys. So I really appreciate that, and you're very welcome. You're very welcome. Feel free to share this with someone who maybe you know that may be struggling and need some advice on some just very basic stuff. We are here we'll try to be here every Thursday. All right, and it's just a little tricky because I got to put my boy to bed, and so sometimes that takes a little longer than usual. Um, and tonight I had to read to him because I always want to read to him the night that I have to put him to bed. So that's will take a little longer. But we'll be here every Thursday, you guys. I really appreciate you guys watching, and come back next week with some questions, or just kind of come and watch, and we'll be here next week. Give me a thumbs up, or a heart, or a like, or whatever it is. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Bye bye.